Hey, welcome back to another Mind the Mic podcast. I'm your host Shubz here with a very special guest, first ever guest from the Bkfc, Edgard Plazaola. What's good, my
Yes,
brother? How are
sir.
you?
How are you, man? Thank you so much for having me. What an honor, what a privilege to be here,
Yeah, nah,
talking
grateful. The
about my
pleasure's mine,
journey.
brother. Yeah, 100%, brother. Speaking on their journey, for anybody that doesn't know who the Dream Killer is, can you tell some people about yourself, where you come from, all that?
Well, I'm originally from Nicaragua, all right, so I'm a Spanish, but like basically coming out of Miami, Florida. This is where I've been, spending most of my life. This is what I've been training the whole time, and I'm an undefeated professional fighter. I started as a MMA fighter, and I went, as an amateur, undefeated, pro undefeated, and now we're moving on into the BKFC, and we are currently 2-0 and looking for that 3-0 right now in June 21st on the next Knuckle Fighting.
Yeah, June 21st. Who do you have on June 21st? Who you're fighting?
I'm facing Eric Dodson.
Yeah.
Uh, I believe he's the brother of the current 125 BKFC champion, John Dodson,
Oh, John, the former UFC fighter, John
the
Dodson.
former UFC fighter, correct? So I'm fighting
Ah,
his big brother, I think, or little brother. Don't know much
ah,
about it.
no, awesome. Oh, speaking on you though, starting there, Nicaragua. Take us back to Nicaragua, a young Edgar Plazaola. What was life like for young Edgar? Like, what's the family dynamic? How many siblings? And what was life like back then?
Yeah, right on. All right, let me take you over there. Trying not to skip important things, but at the same time trying to like cover the important stuff. But going back to
Yes,
my
of course.
country, I come like from a poor country. Like Nicaragua is I would call it like a third country. Like
Mm,
very poor. I never considered myself growing up poor. I was
mm,
less. That my family was always able to provide for me with hard work. Right. I grew up with a single mom, and the oldest of three. So I had two younger brothers. Uh, Growing up in Nicaragua, obviously, when you from those countries, like when you from those tough places, troubles are always around. Like somehow, like you find the way to get on some type of trouble. So that's kind of like where my initiation, like into like fighting became, like mainly like to defend myself, basically, as streets, as school, and I never got to practice martial arts though, which I always wanted to. Growing up over there, like once again, I finished
sure.
my what I call my high school, and after that, I moved on over here to Miami, Florida.
Miami, Florida. So at what age, brother? Sorry, because you cut out a little bit there. So I don't know if it was my end or your end, but we are on the other side of the world, so sometimes that can happen. So what
I know.
age did you say you moved from Nicaragua?
I moved here when I was 17. As soon as I
Oh,
finished my high school over there, basically, I came over here.
beautiful. And what was? Did you move to family? You moved? Did you? How did you
Yeah,
migrate?
yeah, like it's well, I was gonna say it typically, right? But I know that like we are completely on opposite sides of the world, but it's a common thing over here, like because of necessity, a lot of people has to immigrate over here to this beautiful country of opportunity. So yeah, my mother was already here living.
Okay.
The plan was, that when I finished my schooling, for me to come over here with her, basically. So yeah, I already have my mom over here. I have an aunt as well. So as soon as I finish my school, like she told me, okay, there's nothing left to do over there. If you stay there, there's gonna be nothing but trouble. You're gonna be even in jail or in the cemetery. So you had to come over here, and that's how it went down. I got the opportunity to come over here to this amazing country.
Mm. Just well, I guess very similar to a lot of New Zealanders where I come from end up in Australia because a lot more opportunity, financially, and you can
Yes.
set your family up and whatnot, brother, and also getting away from a lot of the turmoils that home has as well. So I resonate with that a lot, brother. 100%.
Yeah. I look back at a lot of, people that I grew up with, friends, and like they got it really rough, so it gave me to appreciate, the opportunity to getting out of the environment, basically.
Yeah, beautiful, man. You moved 17. What did you do from there? 17. You come to work. You come to.
Yeah. I came over here, and I was 17. My mother basically told me, son, whether you can could get onto school, but just so this is a different country, so you're basically gonna have to like go back multiple years. I didn't even speak English, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
and or you can go into like working, and trying to like find a future, set a business, and look up for yourself. And I was like, no, yeah, like I cannot. I was 17 already. I was already, in my country doing my things, like to look for source of income. So I was like, no, 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 let's get right into like work. And
yeah.
that's what we did, we went into like working into different things until we find the right stuff.
What kind of different jobs did you have?
Wow. So look, I mean, at least I think, like the different stuff. So I started installing carpets, like
Oh yeah, installing carpets.
installing carpets, and different, like vinyl floors, kitchen, wood floors and all the
Flooring.
stuff,
Yeah.
flooring basically, but mainly was carpet. And I did that for quite some time because I was doing it was while I was in Virginia, actually, which
Oh,
is a
you're up
different
there.
state from here. I
Yeah.
was in north of Virginia. But after like a year or so, I was like, okay, what? Rather move down here to Miami. I need I knew people over here, and I did the move. And over here was when I really have it tough because this is when I started jumping. I work in construction. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, as you can see, I'm with a tent top because the heat outside is crazy here right now.
Yeah.
We were officially starting summer, right? So
Oh,
now you
winter
pretty,
out here. Then we
yeah.
opposite.
Wow,
Yeah, opposite. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
We just starting summer over here, so we have 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 105, 110, and a lot of humidity. So now that you're asking me these questions, you are bringing me back. I did a lot of construction work, basically outdoors, up in the roof,
Mm.
hustling, a lot of warehouse jobs as well, stacking flowers, stacking products and stuff. And other different kind of constructions work. I remember like installing this type of cabinets, for
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
kitchens
Cabinet
as
making.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cabinet making
Yeah,
installation.
correct.
Oh.
And even cleaning. Like I remember, like man, I wish there was like a good smartphones, so I can have pictures of it. But I remember
Yeah.
that I used to get out of work, like only this part, because I used to wear glasses and the rest was
Oh.
everything white. Because I was the cleaner, like when they would like putting the sheet off at the walls and stuff, I
Yeah.
was the one cleaning right after all that dust. So yeah, man, I did. I hustle a lot,
Hustling, brother. Hustling, brother. Hustling.
always, but yeah, it gave me that work ethic for sure, like as an immigrant, like there's no other option, and that's all I knew, like to work hard. And from there, I finally find what I thought it was gonna be my bread and butter, which is I started working in a restaurant as a
Okay.
busboy. The busboy. That's how, like picking up the dirty
Oh yes.
dishes,
Yes. Yes.
from the
Yes.
tables, giving refills. I still didn't speak that much English as well, neither.
Oh yeah. How did that go with your work? Obviously, Miami a bit easier. Spanish a bit more.
Correct,
Yeah.
exactly. But at the same time, it was great because imagine from working 12, 14, 16 hours under the sun, construction and the
Yeah.
door on the heat to walking in a restaurant with air
This is easy.
conditioning,
This is easy,
like,
baby.
yeah, this is
I
easy.
can have
So
some food. I can have a drink.
listen to me. That's exactly my mentality. Oh my God, this is so easy. I finally found this, like so easy to do. But I was the best because I find the job so easy after the struggle I had before. I was the best. I was non-stopping back and forth, walking, like picking up the dishes, helping all the servers and waitress, everybody loved me. And because of that, oh, in the slow time, I always love learning, So in the
Oh
slow
yes.
time, I was the bass boy, but I was learning how to serve tables. The problem is that my English wasn't that well yet.
Mm.
And
Like
but
when you
then,
say not well, what English did you have? Give me example. Example of the
man,
English.
I wish I could give you an example, but I couldn't put full sentences together. You know,
Oh,
I
true.
under,
Broken.
I understood English very well, pero it was little sentences that I would
Yeah.
put together. I wouldn't be able to articulate or have a conversation like the one that we are having right now,
Yes,
because I
yes.
know, at least right now, I know I still have a thick, strong accent, but I know that at least I'm hoping, that
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that, I,
you can communicate. There
that
will
I
be
can
no.
I can communicate
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. 20 years ago, no podcast. Hey, no.
Exactly. So, but as on the slow time, I started learning other positions of the restaurant. So it was a very nice Italian restaurant that they had like a little oven, in like a pizza
Oh
area.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
So I learned how to make pizzas,
Yeah.
and from making pizzas, I jumped into the kitchen to learn how to do like nice Italian dishes, like
Ooh.
chicken francesa, chicken marsala, clam parmigiana. So I learned how to cook the whole menu. And I guess my hustle caught the attention of the owner, and he said, like, okay, this kid moves, this kid hustle, and he started giving me opportunities, and he started moving me around different positions, using me for anything. There was a point that I was there for like almost 4 years, no, 3 years working, and not only I made by that point, my English was a lot better, and not
Okay.
only I make it to be a server, but I actually was the assistant manager. I was the
Ooh.
operational manager.
Woohoo.
The owner told me, listen, you know how to do everything. If I need you in the kitchen, you can make any dish. If I need you in the dishes, you can be in the dishes, the pizza, the so I was the operational manager.
Hustled your way up, brother. You hustled your way up.
Hustle my way up, hustle my way up. Yes, sir. And I think that's honestly at that point, that's what I saw myself doing. My goals were like, okay, I'm gonna learn this business very well. I'm gonna save money. I'm going to, like find into like what would be the steps, to open up a business, or to partner up, or buy in, something like that. And as an outlet, for the stress from the restaurant, and just to be healthy, I was looking for martial arts training as well, because
Mm-hmm.
I always was into fitness. Like moving back when I was young, I told you I never had the chance to do martial arts,
No.
but knowing that I needed to learn how to defend myself, being the
Yes.
small kids wasn't on my benefit. And I was the small kid. I remember I was short, skinny, with a big head like right now. So yeah, yeah. So when I started getting into a lot of fights, I was like, okay, I need to put somebody into it. So I started
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a lot of weightlifting, a lot of physical exercising, and to build strength, power. And I got hooked into the whole fitness journey, since I was basically 14 years old.
Okay.
And as an adult, I was always training. While I was working at the restaurant, I was always finding the time to do my training. But I was
Yes.
already tired, bored, hit a
Yeah.
plateau. I was living very unhealthy, I recall, because I was working in a restaurant that basically I had access to eat at any time, whatever I want, right? And man, I was even like smoking packs of cigarettes, because I guess it's part of the business. I,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hand
yeah,
in hand, eh? Comes
you,
hand
you
in
know
hand.
it, yeah, exactly. So I never was overweight. I was always in good physical shape. Since I guess since I always take care of myself since young age. I have a good metabolism and everything. But I didn't feel healthy. If you get what I mean.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
look healthy, but I didn't feel healthy. So I was like, you know what? I think that martial arts will be something that is gonna shake me off. It's gonna put me back on track.
Yeah.
and I started looking for martial arts gym. I
What
was
age is this, brother? What age? What age are you? Keep
this was
talking too. Keep talking, brother. I can hear you. I'm just over here. Keep talking, brother.
I hope
Keep
you
talking.
don't mind. I'm having a protein shake right now because
Ah, you do
I
you,
just
brother.
finished
You do
training.
you. You do you, my brother. You do you.
This was a 20 years old. It was a 20 years
20.
old. Once again, I was already an adult. I always knew that I wanted to do martial arts. When I came to this country at 17, I remember the first time that I watched an UFC fight. It was
Oh.
it was Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz.
Ooh. Chuck
I
didn't
was
like him. Hey, they didn't like each
yeah.
other, brother.
No, no, no.
Woo-hoo.
I didn't know nothing. I didn't know much about it. All I recall is that I remember I was 17, so I have a fake ID. So I was in a club. I was in a yeah, I was in a club, and they were playing this fight in the car. I mean, in the bar. And I saw this fight, and I remember that the first thing that I saw, the first thing that I thought was like, man, I can do this. I don't know, right?
Yeah,
Like me
yeah.
being delusional at that point. I was like, man, I can do this. And I leave it at that. At 17, I leave it at that. I said, I can do this. I didn't give it too much thought. I continued with life. But then moving back up now, when I was 20 years old, I guess you can say, like I found my way up to general manager, by the way, like with the
Yes.
hustle, I made it to general manager. So I felt that I was made, I reached my top, on my job at least. And I was making good money, single, with a full-time
Mm.
job. And I was looking, for being healthy. I found this gym, Freestyle Fighting Academy. And the reason why I found it is because of my crazy hours. I used to work from like 10 a.m. to like 1, 2 a.m. I only
Mm.
sleep like a couple hours, wake up and go back to work, right? So I needed a place that was 24 hours. And this is the only gym, in South Florida, mixed martial art gyms that is open 24 hours, 7 days a
Oh,
week.
wow.
So I Google 24 hours MMA gyms. This one pop up. I book an appointment. I show up, and I love it, brother. I love it from the first session that they give me the reality check. They made me hit a back for like 15 seconds, and I was gassed out of my mind. That's when when I felt that challenge is when I was like, oh yeah, this is me. So I started training here.
Yes.
uh there's still a 12:30 midnight class. So that was the class that I used to take during the weekdays. I used to get out of work like around 11:30, 12. So I used to make it here at 12:30 midnight to get my martial arts training. I was never tired for it. I was just getting started, so I was excited, always looking forward for my next session. And then from there, as I started training more, I fall more in love with it. And as usual, I started like readjusting my work schedule to come to the earliest classes. And from 12:30 midnight, I started coming to the 9:45 p.m. class. And then from the 9:45 p.m. class, I brought it down to the 8:15 p.m. class. Like trying to like work my schedule around.
Yes.
And from there, nothing. We never look back. I mean, I don't know if I'm jumping into anything or I'm jumping
Hey.
too fast, but I'm
Now
kind
you
of
do
going
you,
with
brother.
it.
This is your journey. You talk about it, brother. Yeah.
So once I started training this, um, it's funny because when I started trading, I did it at the beginning. It was not like I know a lot of people that I meet people now that just like me, like I meet them for the first time and I ask them, like what kind of benefits, what goals or what purpose they have from training. And I
Mm.
admire when, young people tell me right away, no, I want to be a fighter. I want to be the next, I want to make it to the UFC. And I'm like, oh, cool, right on. But that
Mm.
wasn't my case. My case, when I started doing this, it's not like, oh, I'm going to be the next UFC fighter or I wanted to be a fighter. It was something like I say, I was looking for a different way of training for a different hobby
Yeah.
to stay healthy. But
Yeah.
it happens that I guess I was very good at it because people
Yeah.
started believing on me and very repetitive compliments, if you get what I mean. Like,
Oh,
Joe,
okay. Yeah.
you're
From a lot of
natural,
people.
man. Yeah, from
Mm.
from it started with my peers, with my other teammates that they were just starting just like me. So I
Hmm.
didn't take it too much serious. I was like, yeah, sure. Like I was like, how much can he knows? He just got started like me. maybe because I tap him out a little bit, or I rough him up a little bit. That's why he's complimenting and he's telling
Yeah,
me that I'm
brother.
good. So that's how I started, right? But I did notice that. I did notice that a lot of people was like, "Joe, you good, man. You natural. You strong. You athletic." People will be like, "Do you used to wrestle in high school?" And I'm like, "No, man. There's not such a thing as wrestling on my country." And then then was the coaches. The coaches were kind of like started like looking at me, and there was these coaches. Not all of them. Like 'cause I believe that they didn't want to like, how can I explain? They didn't want to like raise my bubble. That's how you say it, if
Oh
you get
yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah. Sort of like said, yeah, they
Yeah,
don't want you to get a big hit,
I will
hey,
see
brother.
that. I will see that they I will have their attention, and there was a couple of them that they will tell me like, "Joe, you're very good. You're natural." There was coaches asking me if I wrestled before. I was like, "No, this is the first time that I learned how to
Yeah,
do a
yeah,
double leg takedown."
yeah.
And they were like, "Oh wow, you are natural then." And that's how I went. So I continued progressing. I continued training. I started investing more hours into training. Obviously, this
Mm,
become a little more like a I don't want to say like a full-time training yet, but it was already like something that I wanted to do martial arts. I already have as a mindset to be a black belt at least. I wasn't
mm,
thinking of being a fighter yet. Uh, but then as I start getting better, I start beating people bigger than me, and with more experience than me, if you get what I mean, with the little that
yes.
I knew. So I guess, my progress was very quick. And that's when people start kind of like pointing out to me, like, Joe, you should compete, bro. You should give it a try. You should like, why don't you fight, And
Mm,
the first time that somebody put that on me, like, I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I'm already training. I'm already
yeah,
doing this. I'm not afraid to be in a fight. I'm being in a
yeah.
lot of fights coming up. So I remember the first time that somebody put that seat on me, I was like, okay, yes, we're gonna do this.
Do you remember who that was?
I
They said that.
wish, I wish I
Uh,
remember, man. It was way too long ago, but it was one of my teammates.
mm,
Then obviously he's not around. If he's around, I will remember him.
yeah,
But yeah, he was the first one, but not the only one.
yeah.
Then
But was he that he was the first that you heard and it actually hit
uh,
you like, yeah, yeah, you're
he
right at the
told me
time.
they put the seat,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, there should be no reason why I shouldn't be doing this. The only problem could be the time, but
Mm,
if I'm a positive thinker. I'm always like, when there's a will, there's a way. So at
yes.
the moment when they said it might be impossible because of my schedule, but I was like, oh no, we're gonna make this happen. So I started training now with a different vision. I started training more like, because now I wanted to fight. So I was going more with the amateur fighters, with the professional fighters. I was like sparring and grappling with them.
Mm,
And the progress will continue. Now it was the fighters actually telling me, Joe, come to our training sessions. The pro fighters will be the one telling me, when you gonna fight, man. Like you should fight. I'm like, yeah. That's the goal. That's the goal. I'm getting ready for it, right? And soon after that, my luck, I guess, like at the right time, and you know, uh, and preparation, they had a fighters tryouts here at the gym.
okay.
They started announcing, because here, we do like a fighters tryouts for anyone who wants to be part of the fight team. So that way, like the training is different than the
Yes.
regular student, right? And I was like, okay, perfect. Now I know that this is the first step that I had to do for me to fight. I gotta do the tryout to be on the
Mhm.
team. And once I'm in the team, I'm gonna start preparing for my first fight.
So how old are you now? How old are you now?
Oh, now this happened, like I say, I progressed super quick. It was within like a year. So I was
Oh,
like
true. From when
21.
you first started.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a
I was
natural,
like a,
brother. For sure,
yeah,
natural.
I was like a 21, I believe, about to be 22 if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the tryouts. I guess in the tryouts, they were already being seeing, watching me, right? But on the tryout, I guess I kind of like displayed a lot more. I got beat up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that in the tryout I was the
Yeah, 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 yeah,
star.
yeah.
No, because the fight tryouts here basically is 1 hour of crazy conditioning outside on this heat. So like to drain you off, and then after that we come inside and it's a sparring session, a 1 hour sparring session, hard
After
sparring
that,
session.
after the
And
first hour.
basically, exactly. So basically, the setup is, you're gonna get beat up, and you going with fresh people. We do like we call it Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do is, like, well, no, they now, because now the heck instructor, so I'm the one doing the trials,
Oh
doing the
yeah.
tryouts. So
I
what
see.
we're trying to do is we're trying to break whoever's not really a fighter, if you get what I mean, right?
Mhm.
Because the mentality, which I understand that now, is what explained me at the tryouts is our goal is to break you, because we prefer for you to break here at the gym, right?
Yeah.
Than for
Then.
you to break in the cage, in front of
Mhm.
people, in front of your family. So if you're gonna break here.
Mhm.
If you break on these tryouts, that's okay. Prepare again and you do the next one. But like if you don't break, that means that you're ready to get in there, right? So yeah, I got beat up. Definitely, I remember. The uh, Jason Suarez. A good friend, one of my best friends. And coaches and mentors when it comes to martial arts. I remember him. He basically mopped the floor with me because he would like took me down. I would get back up. He would throw me back down. I would get back up. But that was my whole mentality was that I was like, I know I'm not gonna beat this guy, but I know that every time that he takes me down, I gotta find a way to get back up. And,
Yeah.
and that's what I did the whole round, like he would put me down, get back up, put me down, get back up, put me down, get back up. Obviously, he would put me down, ground and pound me, and when his ground and pound me,
Yeah.
get back up. So it was a good beat up. At least I remember that round. But I remember me telling myself, yeah, you didn't break me, homie. Like
I
you
survived
didn't,
still.
you
You
didn't put
beat
me
me.
exactly. I survived.
Yeah.
You didn't put me
Yeah.
down.
You beat me, but
And
you beat me up, but you
exactly,
didn't you didn't you didn't break me. That's
yeah.
good.
And then after the tryouts, obviously I made it to the fight team. But then
Mhm.
after the tryout, the owner of the facility, Marcos Avalon, my mentor now, he brought me to the site and he presented an amazing opportunity. That's kind of like why that's basically the reason where I'm at right now. Not only I make it to the fight team, he had a separate program that he called the Fighter House, which is basically kind of like the UFC show,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Ultimate
Ultimate
Fighter,
Fighter. Yeah.
the Fighter House. So basically, he had a house where he will have fighters. So that way, like basically, like I call it like a full sponsorship athlete. The he basically put it this way to me. Hey, listen, Edgar. So you want to be a fighter, right? Yes. Now, I'm giving this opportunity to people that I believe that they have the talent, but that they need the work. And if they are willing to work, I want to present this opportunity to people that I believe that they had the caliber to be a UFC champion. And the reason why I'm sitting with you is because I think that you are one of those. Now, what consists is being a full-time fighter. I'm gonna give you housing, free housing. I'm gonna give you, free. You don't have to pay bills, utility, nothing. I'm going to give you free training. At that point, I was paying like $200 a month for training. And when he told me I'm gonna train for free, I was like, "That's what
Yeah.
he got me at that."
Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
No, so yeah, so he offered me free training. He offered me free training. He offered me free housing. Like a room for myself. And he also told me, look, and I can give you $100 allowance a week for eating and expenses, or I can give you a couple hours work part-time job here, so you can find your money, find your income, but it wouldn't be a full-time job, because the purpose of the Fighter House program is because I want the fighters just to think about fighting. I want them to train, eat, sleep, watch films, talk about fighting, like to make fighting our obsession. He explained it to me. So, you're gonna have to quit your full-time job. He told me you will have to quit your full-time job. You have to move into the fighter house, and you have to train twice a day minimum. You had to like a job, clock in at 10:30 a.m. training
Mm,
session and 8:30 p.m. training session. You injure, you still come, you sit by the side and you watch. And if
mm,
you can, and if you have one backhand, you work your jab, your kicks, your elbows, your knees. Or if you have one back knee, you work your striking. And you get what I mean? So he
yes.
established to me that this is no longer a hobby. This is gonna be
Mm,
your profession, and this is something that you're gonna put in your mind and you're gonna pursue it, like an obsession. And he did two things for me. He told me, listen, typically I don't give I want to answer right away, but I know that you are a general manager from a restaurant. I know that you have a life set up, and you're not like a young kid, from the street. So I'm gonna give you 1 week for you to think about it, and
wow.
I also gonna give you a book for you to read it. If you decide to get on board, I want an essay of the book that I'm giving you. And I mean, this man, that's why he's my mentor. He knew exactly what he was doing, and that's exactly what I went on it. I went into reading the book, and while reading the book, it allowed me to think about this huge decision at the time, because yeah, it was basically quitting the job that I worked so hard to make it. Remember, from
Yes.
from busboy to general manager,
All
and
the way up.
I remember that I worked so hard to be the general manager, because since I worked my way up, the owner would trust me, but wouldn't fully trust me to be the general manager, right? To be the
Yes.
top boss. And I just got my promotion. I think it was like not even a year that I was the general manager already.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now I had to make this decision. but now I took the week, to think about
Hmm.
it really well.
Was it hard?
Uh, was it hard?
Yeah, to make the decision. Was it a hard
No,
decision for you?
man. It was, what it was hard? Was hard was to quit my job.
Oh, okay.
It
So
was kind of
so
like,
the decision
like
wasn't hard. It was just
the
going to
decision
as the
wasn't
boss. Yeah.
listen, the decision wasn't hard. The moment that I started reading the first chapter, that's what I'm telling you. I now understand why my coach gave me this book for me to read. It's kind of like to basically make my decision easy. By the way, the name of the book is Outliers by
Outliers. Malcolm.
Malcolm
Malcolm
Maxwell, I
Gladwell.
believe.
Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell.
Maxwell, yes.
Yeah, Gladwell. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Outliers.
Gladwell,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
You know
know
what I'm
the
talking
book.
about, right?
Yeah, I know the book. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So when I read the book, I kind of like the first chapter kind of like told me like, man, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the right moment at the right opportunity, and all my decision up to this point put me in this position, and I had to take this opportunity. I had to burn all ships and go for falling in, no survivors. And that's what I did. I made the decision with the first one. The reason why I took the whole week to give an answer is because I was like, man, how do I tell my boss now that I'm gonna quit my general manager position to go into fighting when I never have a single fight yet? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. I just been training basically for like a year, I guess, right? But yeah, no, I jump on board, and that's exactly what I did, my brother. I quit my job. I I I terminate my lease on my apartment, and I
Mhm.
moved into the fighter house with another guys that just like me were obsessed with
Hungry.
fighting, with training, hungry, and all of them wanted to be the next UFC champion. And yeah, man, that was like I guess that was my rocket ship, when it comes to martial arts, because I became a killer because of that. I was
Mm.
training with
A
this
dream
guy.
killer.
I became a dream killer. I was training twice a day, full time. Like a full athlete, like I'm training right now. I started training like a professional since even before my first amateur fight. If
Mm.
it makes sense what I'm saying,
Yeah, it's crazy.
So this is all I know. I know
What a
all I
blessing,
know is
brother.
how to. What a blessing! Exactly what it is. That's up to this point, man. This man is a blessing. This facility is a blessing. Freestyle Fighting Academy for me is a
Mm.
blessing. It's a privilege now because, like I mentioned before, now I'm in the position to that I'm just like before. I work my way up here, because I started first like a couple hours just picking up the phone over here. But then as my career as I got more involved, I was like, okay, I cannot be living just with $100 allowance a week.
Mm.
I need more income, right? And I found a way how to make quick, easy money that doesn't take much of my time, which especially my training, because like that was the main thing. As long as it doesn't interfere with my training, my recovery, my nutrition, with my career, I could find a way to make money. So I started teaching classes here. I started doing private lessons. I started helping other people that they will come, to enroll for the first time. And now I'm the head instructor of the facility running the mixed martial art program. And like I say, I consider it a blessing because from where I started, I worked my way up here. And now I feel that this is my way to give back. I can never pay forward. I can never pay back, I would say. I can never pay back Marco Savela, my mentor. I can never pay back Freestyle Fighting Academy, but I can always find a way to pay forward, to them, somehow with my skills, with my knowledge, with my
Mm.
care, because basically this is my gym, that's how I see it. This is my business. This is what made me, and it's my purpose, to make this succeed and grow as well.
Yeah. So, what fighters have made it out of the gym? Obviously, there's a very very famous one that a lot of people would know. But can you speak on some of them just quickly?
Listen, I will speak of the one that I consider, man, a very true champion, like Jason Suarez. Like I say,
Mm.
it is this guy that, basically become my main training partner when when
Yes,
when,
the one.
when I
Yeah.
move into the fight house, because we are the same weight class, and basically, like we just like knew how to like push each other.
Mm.
Obviously, he had more experience than me when I started, so he, like he taught me so much. But in martial arts, I learned, that at some point, like you kind of like catch up to them to the point,
Yeah.
that now you can make it challenging, and that's kind
Especially
of
the way you hustle, brother. Especially the way you hustle, brother.
exactly, yeah. But his mindset when it comes to fighting, when it comes to like his winner mentality, his champion
Mm.
mentality. Jason Suarez, I would say, he retired already,
Yeah.
but imagine he retired, I believe, 15 and all, undefeated, like
Yeah. Yeah.
multiple time champions. So yeah, it's someone that I really look up to, and yeah, of course, there's a
Big shout
lot
out.
of
Big
names.
shout out.
Big shout out, Jason Suarez, yes, for sure. And there's a lot of other people as well. Funny, that you mentioned the camarada here, Jorge Masvidal started
Hmm.
training over here at the Freestyle Fighting Academy. Kimbo Slice, which here is a legend, when it
Kimbo,
comes to, like to
R.I.P.
backyard fighting, bare knuckle, rest in
Rest in
peace. Yeah.
peace.
He trained here as well. When he did the transition from backyard fighting to MMA, he came over here, to prepare for it. And yeah, going back to Masvidal, you see my coach, like if you go into the YouTube videos, of his backyard fight, you actually see my coach Marcos Avalanche there because he was the one training her. So Marcos Avalanche he's a pioneer when it comes to like bare knuckle fighting,
Yeah,
so
literally.
it's funny how life works, because he started in backyard, basically illegal,
Yeah.
and and then he moved on into martial arts, professional and everything, and then now bare knuckle becomes something legal, something that's sanctioned over here,
Yeah.
and now he goes back to his roots. Like, okay, yeah, I know this.
Yeah, yeah. This is home. This is
We
home.
used to prepare for this, back in the
Yeah.
days, So yeah. I had the best training here, So it works perfectly fine. It worked amazing.
How did so when? How did the opportunity? Do you want to speak on the early UFC or not UFC? Your early MMA before you got to BKFC? Can you speak on those undefeated that undefeated streak you had there and how that worked?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So blessed, like obviously, like my career went spotless clean, a lot of quick finish. I have
Mm.
17 seconds submissions. I have a 21-second submission. So good thing about it is I didn't feel I haven't received that much damage, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah, 100.
so that's why I feel myself doing this for a long time, because my MMA fights, for example, my here in Florida, you have to have minimum 5 amateurs fight, to become pro.
Okay.
So the first fights, the goal was, let's get these fights on, right? Yeah, it went quick. I got the 5 fights. I went 5-0, and right away my coach told me, "Listen, you are ready to go pro." Now, when I turn into like pro, same thing. Like as a pro, I feel super comfortable, man. I was like, like training at that point, with such a high caliber training partners, that I felt the I was running through all of those guys. Couple injuries here and there that kind of slowed me down, and then actually I stopped fighting completely for some time.
Mm.
I have like a 6 years gap, of not fighting. Always training, always hungry, but to be honestly, to be honest, it was like accumulation of family happy. For example, I got
Yep.
married, I have my
Yeah.
kids, right? So obviously, once I started going in that
The best.
direction, I gotta be more like a provider for my
Yeah.
family as well. So that's kind of what my role became. And I'll be honest with you, here, fighting locally MMA, at least at that moment, it wasn't making much sense financially.
Yeah.
My goal was, okay, I'm gonna build a record here on these local shows.
Yeah.
I'm gonna build a record, and hopefully, like move into those bigger promotions. But I built a 4-0 record, and then, once again, I got married, injuries, family, and accumulate, and just not making sense, mainly, to tell you the truth. Like
Mm.
when I wanted to get into a fight, I would like kind of like, yeah, no, basically I'm gonna have to pay for fight for
Mm.
fighting, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
Yes.
to like
Yeah.
be paying for my training, for my, like all the training expensive, and then when I get my pay, doesn't cover it up. And then on top
Yeah.
of that, as a sole provider of my family, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me focus on coaching. Let me focus on, you know, setting something for myself. And when the right opportunity presents, I know I'll be ready. So I'll continue getting ready. I'll continue co- coaching, but active coaching, like I was basically always there with the fighters, side alone. I was just not booking any fights. And yeah, that's how it went down. I never say, "Oh, I'm retired." Even
Mhm.
during COVID, that everything was down, stop. Like at that point during COVID, it was a situation, that when
Oh, that
things
made it
start
harder, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
when things start reopening, even myself, I considered going back into the restaurant business. I was
Oh,
like, okay,
really?
well, like, yes, like, because the gym closed, and then when they reopened, everybody was like, imagine, with the whole, like, who wants to be training with masks,
Mm.
or the whole, like, no contact and stuff. So business was down. And when restaurant, I was like, okay, what, at least restaurant, maybe if I can, like, like, get some money on it. But then I was like, no, you know what? But if I go back to if I go back to the restaurants business, I feel that I'd be done. So no, let
Yeah.
me let me eat it, and let me stay on it, and that's exactly what I did. And right after COVID, I remember, I was here. I was actually with a boot. because I have an
A
ankle.
moon boot.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like the because I fractured my ankle,
Yeah.
so I have a boot on, and my manager and good friend Aldo Espinosa from El Toro Loco MMA. Shout out to Aldo, making it happen always for me.
Shout out to
And
Aldo.
and Jason Suarez approached me and they told me, Joe, Edgar, so listen, we have a connection here. We Bkfc. They coming down here to Hollywood, Florida, and they're gonna put a show, and I think like you'll be good for it. Like you said that you still wanna fight, and this is a good chance, and and they knew what was stopping me from fighting. They knew that they needed to make sense for me, and they told me, look, what do you think about this? And it definitely made sense for me, so I was right on. I was injured and I said, I'm in, because
Let's
I
go,
know this.
baby. Let's
Let's
go.
go. Amen. This is the opportunity that I was looking for. All I needed is for me to make sense. I needed to, I needed,
Mm.
I needed to be able to cover my training, to cover my nutrition, to cover, like, cause it's just one thing that I know is how to prepare myself like a professional for a fight. I don't go in there half prepared. I don't
Yeah.
go there if I'm not fully prepared. So that's why I decided to stop better from fighting than to go in there unprepared. So now, that I had this opportunity, definitely I can cover all of those things. And, like now we own it, and I'm
Mm.
excited. All those years, I had this hunger on me. Imagine not being able to release because, let's just put it this way, sparring is not sparring, trading, hitting the bag. It's never the same. It's never gonna
It's
feel
a
the
real
same
fight.
as letting the hand goes with
Yeah.
someone that is trying to hurt you. And I always remember me feeling that need, to release, to let it loose, like I call it. I need to let this hand loose. And when I finally got that opportunity, I was like, oh man, we're going all in again. I'm burning all bridges again. Yeah, my family, my kids are growing a little. My kids are a little big already. Things are running smooth, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a stability. Once again, I have my work here. I have a other business going on. So now I can fully dedicate myself, to this, and making an obsession again, and fully prepared for it. So that's how we are right now.
Yeah. Solid, brother. Shout out to BKFC, their name, brother. Giving you the
BKFC,
opportunity.
man, BKFC, big shout outs to BKFC because they making it happen. They are growing tremendously.
Mm.
They this since the moment that I noticed the names that they were bringing, I was like, okay, this promotion is going places. So I had to jump in on it. Well, looking out, Conor McGregor became, what is a silence owner, part owner of
Yeah.
BKFC,
Yeah.
and that has to be good, right? And so the way that I see it is basically I make it to my UFC. Looking back on the day when I started doing this, I remember my ultimate goal was to be the UFC featherweight world champion.
Yes.
So now, obviously, this is another journey, but this is my journey now. I'm no longer the MMA fighter to look to get into the UFC. This is
Hmm.
me. For me, BKSC is my pinnacle, is my reach, and
Yeah.
and I'm going to be the next BKFC featherweight champion of the world.
Let's go, brother. I can't wait to
Let's
see
do
that
it.
happen too, my man. And
Yes.
when's the fight happening again? Just for people out there.
Fight is happening on June 21st. It's exactly 4 weeks from now. Friday night. Fights will start at 7 p.m. It's going to be here, Hollywood, Florida. And
Hollywood,
you
Florida,
guys want to
baby.
check it out. You guys want to check it out. If you guys, fans of action, if you guys are fans, like a fast,
Yeah.
vicious fighting, come and watch me because I'm going to finish my opponent in a fashion way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can we get a prediction? Can we get a prediction? You're finishing it. It's
Oh,
not going to
I'm
the end.
finishing. I'm finishing within the first 3 rounds.
Yeah,
No,
first 3 rounds, it's over,
I'm
baby.
finishing within the
From,
first 3 rounds.
there you
Absolutely.
go, brother.
I'm a certified finisher, man. I'm going in there to finish my opponent. I don't like to leave it to the judges, So you better believe it. I put it on the line because at the same time, I want to entertain and I want people to remember my name and not to be like a boring fight or anything like that. I'm going to win, but mainly I'm going to finish.
I love it, brother. I love that. I love their confidence. I love their drive, but it's a long journey to get here too, brother. So you know what I
It
mean? All
is.
those years of preparation, all those years of having to balance life and bills and pay for, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And putting it to the side. Time is now, brother. Time is now to go get it and to get those
Yes.
dubs and lift that belt,
Absolutely.
baby. So I love that, brother. Hey, before we get out of here, I got a couple of little questions for you, if that's okay.
Yes, man. Shoot.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what do you choose?
Ooh.
Every day, brother. You got to eat this every day.
If I had to eat this every day, it will
Mm.
have to be uh Wagyu picanha steak.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wagyu
Is it from?
picanha steak from El
Yeah.
Toro Loco Churrasqueria. The
That's
best
it.
churrasqueria in South Florida, man. I tell you, they had the best steaks there, and no doubts. I'm already doing it, kind of.
Yeah.
I have a carnivore diet. I
Yep.
basically that's my main source of income. My main source of protein.
Protein.
But yeah, I
Yep.
love my steak, especially the Wagyu picanha for sure.
From. Hey, that's it, baby. Okay, every day. That's what he's eating. Give me visualization 10 years from now. What do you hope life looks like for Edgard, the dream killer Plazaola? What do you reckon?
Ooh, 10 years from now, the Dream Killer Plazaola life. Oh yeah, most definitely. Listen, 10 years from now, obviously, I'm gonna have my own training facility where I'm gonna have the privilege, like to train my kids and continue training and helping people, to achieve their goals and to have a healthy lifestyle and to live uh, a good, honorable life, if you get what I mean. I see myself, with financial freedom, where I'm able to provide for my family, where we live comfortable. I see myself hustling, always hustling, like that
Mm.
is part of me, So
From busboy
looking,
to general manager to owner, baby. Let's
yeah,
go.
looking into the next startup, looking into the next journey, looking into like how can how can we learn a new skill. That's how I see myself 10 years from now for sure.
Nah,
And
beautiful.
as a BKFC Hall of Famer.
Hey, you said it, brother. Hey, and who knows? Maybe one day, is there a MMA Hall of Fame or not yet? Oh, there is.
Yeah, there
Hey,
is.
don't sell yourself short. MMA Hall of Fame too, brother. Let's go. Hey,
Exactly, you're totally right. Yes sir, yes sir.
yeah, with the most finishes or some shit like that. Something crazy, brother. Yeah,
Yes, correct.
yeah. I like it. I like it. Give us your favorite superpower. If you could choose a superpower, or maybe even create one, which one would you choose or create, and why?
Oh man, like a super power or
Yeah,
like
like a superhero superpower, or you know
a
what I mean.
superhero.
Maybe you want to create one. I don't know. It's up to you. You choose, and
Man,
tell me
it's
why you want
funny.
that.
It's funny, man. I guess I gotta call this as is I gotta call this a superpower, right? I guess it's gonna be a new kind of superhero. But you asking me this, and yesterday I was reading I was doing my morning Bible reading, and I was reading about King Solomon and how he asked God for wisdom. And I was like, you know what? I guess to answer that question, that would be the superpower I would like to have. Wisdom, like to
Mm,
have wisdom. Yeah. I don't know.
no.
So I guess what superhero had that superpower? I'm trying to think.
Wisdom,
Doctor Stranger, I
maybe.
don't know.
Mm, Professor X, maybe. I don't know, like X
Yeah,
Men. Maybe.
I guess.
I don't know, brother. I'm trying to think, but I know the superhero, the dream color killer Plazaola. That's you, brother. Hey, that's superhero,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they make a comic book of you one day. You never know.
I hope so, man. That's what I'm talking about. That'd be
Yeah, and
awesome.
this like the story starts in Nicaragua, and then you move over there, and then
Listen,
he's working in
so
construction for hours, and then all of a sudden he's a busboy, then he becomes general manager, walks into a fighting gym, and wow, you know what I mean?
listen.
And who
Now we're
knows?
talking about taking you back to superhero. Now you brought it to me. When I was back in school, I used to have a friend, a really good friend that he used to like drew really good comic books because you're talking
Oh
about
yes,
comic books. So
yeah.
we will have a he will drew comic books, and it was like it was the three of us. So he would do himself with his, superpower and stuff. And me, he drew me, and my power was the wind. I was Twister.
Oh, you was
That
Twister.
was my superpower now that I remember because he made me
Oh,
kind of like, if you get what I mean, he made me like a comic. He was like a comic book type of thing, right?
yeah,
And I don't remember his power was, like a rock or something like that. Somebody else was like fire, and I was wind, and my power was to like make twisters and stuff. So I guess there you go. That's the superpower you were asking.
yeah. That's it, brother.
Wisdom and wind.
Wisdom and win, brother. Wins them.
There you
Hey,
go.
brother, if you could pick a song when you win the title, when you get the belt wrapped around you, or maybe it's a moment where you win $100 million. That kind of feeling. What would be the song you would want to play in that moment when you get the belt wrapped around you, or you win the lotto or something? You know what I mean? It's just what kind of
Oh
song?
man.
What song would you want to play when you get there? Let's just say the belt, because that's what we're going for, right?
Yeah, yeah. Pero like when they put the bell in the
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
in
Like
the
what song
venue
would you want to hear?
or
Like.
private for me to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, man, that's a good question. I haven't. That's someone. They always ask me for the walking song, but they never
Yeah,
asked
yeah,
me
yeah,
for
but
that
no, no,
song.
no,
So
no.
I
I
just
want to hear when you get the belt wrapped around. What song are we celebrating with, brother? You know what I mean?
I just gonna shoot one. All I do is win by DJ
All I
Khaled.
do is
All
win,
I do
win,
is
win.
win by DJ Khaled.
Hey, they call
That's
it.
all.
I
That's
like
right.
it,
That's
brother.
right.
Yeah, that's dope. Hey, my brother, since you are an instructor, coach, do you have any advice for any young, let's say, young immigrant brothers out there that have a passion and want to do what you're doing, like whether it's coaching, but they want to get into the fight game? They have the skills, they have the drive, they have the ambition. Is there any advice you could give them?
Yeah, most definitely, man. I will say one to trust God and to believe in themselves. Two, to trust the process, to trust the process. And three, to be patient. Because a lot of
Mm.
people think, like that this is kind of like something that it has to happen from one moment to the other one. I get a lot of that, a lot of times, like as a coach, my job is sometimes to slow down people, that they just want to like go in there even when they're not prepared because maybe they started too late or so on. But once again, like I said at the beginning, where there's a will, there's a way. I consider myself that I started late, and I feel that I'm doing just fine, and I
Yeah.
feel that I have many, many, many years on me still. So for the young ones, I would say trust the process, and for anyone, the whatever phase in their life they are, you know 20s, 30s, if they still want to give it a go, they just gotta trust the process and be patient. And obviously, I don't have to say, the work hard part,
Yeah,
because
of course.
there's
That
a
comes with
lot
it.
of
Yeah.
hard work. Listen,
Obviously.
it is. And,
Yeah.
and once again, like this has to be something. The last thing that I will tell them, especially to the young ones, that if they're gonna do this, that they had to do it to the top. Like fighting shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I make it. I'm gonna try if I do a couple fights. Like no, like if you're gonna go into fighting, you're gonna go into fighting but you gotta see yourself already at the top, like one of the
Yes.
tops,
Yes.
like like the next UFC, like the next Bkfc, like the next world champion, like fighting shouldn't be something like, oh yeah, I just wanna put my name out there. Oh yeah, I just wanna get a couple fights, I just wanna try it. Like, no, this has to be something that it has to be done right. And I believe that to get it done right, you need to have an ultimate goal,
Mm.
so that would be my suggestion for anyone that wants to take this journey. Go all in.
Go all in, brother. I just want to say on that, on the fact that you talked about not just to the young ones, but you also spoke to, I guess, anybody that's, that's like you said, like, you're not a spring chicken in the sense of things, but you feel like, bro, I don't know, I haven't taken much damage. I got plenty of years in this game, baby. I'm just getting started, right? And I think
Absolutely.
that's key, brother, that you're saying. Because for me, right, I'll just give you a quick little rundown before we go. I'm 32 years old, and I decided a year ago I was gonna take my own life because I was just not in a place where I wanted to be, brother. Like mentally, things that I had caused around me, and I was about to hang myself. I had my son. He woke up crying from his teeth, teething. He's only a young, and so I was about to do it, brother. And then I thought to myself, I'm gonna go and sort him out. And once I've sorted him out, I'll go back and finish the job. But then while I'm holding him, tears are falling down, and I'm realizing I'm not where I want to be. So this podcast was born out of that. This podcast was born out of there. Of this is my passion, brother. I love talking to people from all walks of life. I love having conversations, and I love hearing about people's journeys, brother. So I made a promise to myself. This was a year ago last week that I'm gonna do everything I can every day, daily deposit until January starting this year, that I would launch no matter what happened. I would launch, no excuses. I'd launch a podcast. And since then, it's January, the first week of January, I launched, and we'll be, by the time this episode comes out, we'll be like 220 odd episodes in 5 months, brother, and 220 of value with awesome people. But what I'm saying to that point that you made is that that's for me too, brother. Like I resonate with that of like, hey, we're like 32, but bro, we're just getting started out here. Maybe I should have done this a long time ago, but let's go now and daily daily work at it, brother. So thank you for being a part of that 200 plus journey episodes within 5 months, and I look forward to hopefully catching up with you in the flesh next time I'm in Miami. It's been a few years since I've been over in America, but when I get to
Yeah,
Florida,
man.
hopefully next year I'll probably be there. I'll look you up, my brother, and we'll keep in touch.
Listen, for
Let's go and
sure,
get
I
some of
would
that
love.
steak, baby. Oh,
Yeah,
let's get it,
you
my
love
brother.
it, man. You love it,
Yeah.
but definitely, man, you gotta hit me up, man. And absolutely, man, I'm so happy for you that like that you got that passion, and yeah, most definitely. And it's not just to start martial arts, it's like you say,
Life, anything.
anything, whatever phase you are. There's not such a thing. There's nothing stopping someone from starting over.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
problem. That a lot of times, we had these misconceptions like, oh, I'm 30, oh, I'm 40, oh,
Mm.
I'm 50, oh, I'm 60. We have a clock down. Yes, it has to be a balance. When I get things done, I get things done because I know I'm not gonna live forever. But
Mm.
at the same time, once again, we need to be realistic. Like at least in my case, I try to do everything in my possibility to have longevity. Just
Mm.
like your parent, I'm pretty sure you don't like now. You want to see your kid grow up and stuff, and you
Yeah,
want to be healthy
100%, brother.
forever,
Of
right?
course, of
So
course.
it's the same thing, like for all of us. So the way that I see it, I see myself at 75 years old. I don't want to, like
Mm.
I don't want to change it, but if you get what I mean,
I
like
can't
I
wait to
know
see you at
I'm
75
not
years
gonna,
old,
I'm not
brother.
gonna, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna live forever, but
Yeah,
I have goals that I want to achieve at 40. But I know
yeah.
that at 40, I'm gonna have something to look forward to at
At
50, at
50, at
60.
60. Yes, yes,
Because
brother.
it's
That's it.
never. You get
Talk
my
about
point.
it.
Because
Yeah,
there's my point
100%.
is, like you should be. There's this misconception that we had. Oh, 40. That's it. You
Yeah, it's
don't.
like life's
Like you
over.
you you
Mm.
didn't, you didn't do this. You didn't do that.
Yeah,
Did that. Just say your life's over. That's not how it is.
yeah.
Like it's just
If you still
like.
want to do it now. You know what I mean? If you still want to do it,
Exactly. If
start
they
doing it
wanna
now.
do it now.
Yeah, why
Correct.
not?
Absolutely.
Hey, my brother, I
But
just
yeah,
want to say time is the most valuable commodity we have as human beings. The one thing we can never get back. We can always get back money. We can always get back things, but time spent is time lost. So I just want to thank you, brother Edgar, the Dream Killer, Plazaola, future featherweight Bkfc champion, for giving me your time, brother. An hour of your time that you could have given to somebody else or to your people that you coach or to anybody, to your family, brother. But thank you for sharing it with me on my little podcast that I hope to one day make the biggest podcast in the world, brother. That's the goal. We gotta have that long goal and short steps towards that, brother. So that's the goal, my brother. But thank you so much for your time and your energy and your light. I appreciate it, brother. And your hustle has inspired me to keep going too, brother.
my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. To share my story with your audience. I wish you nothing but the best. And we will meet at the top, my friend.
Oh,
All
we
right.
will, my brother.
And
This is only the first time, brother. This ain't the last time, baby.
absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
my
And
brother.
real
Big
quick,
love.
I just wanna say real quick, like thank you so much, to you, but also thank you so much, for my sponsors, El Toro Loco
Yes.
Churrasqueria, Freestyle Fighting Academy. I have Elite Precision Massage. They're always taking
Yeah.
care of my recovery as well, and the Best Bull, Miami. They all major supporters. Aldo Espinosa, my friend and manager,
Mm.
he's the one who basically like making this BKFC opportunity happening for me,
Yeah.
and always taking care of me. Like he's an amazing person. And I'm happy to have him as a manager. And BKFC, thank you so
Yeah.
much, guys. You guys are the man.
Salute to all of them. Can you send me a little list of all of them so I can write them in the description when I put the episode up on all the
Yeah,
because
man,
this will go
absolutely.
on YouTube, Spotify, all the Apple, all the podcast platforms. So just so I can put it in there with all your details, my brother. And much
You
love to
got it.
you, my man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.